Alright, how much would you pay for peace of mind? $1, $10, $20, $50, $100? That's what I'm asking. Because ultimately, this is still about you and me. How much is my time worth to you? Right now, you don't know much, if anything, about me. So it's probably about this level. You get to this video for free. Congrats. We're here. Now, I have a lot to share with you about where my life has come from and where my life has gone. But what I want to hit here is just bare bones basics. If you're tired of feeling like you can't do what you need to do, that you have no power in your life, that you require silly things like school games at $99 a month to maintain your community, if you are tired of reading and watching podcasts and listening to Neville or Miss Byrne, or take your pick of manifesting courses and books and movies that way, by all means, please pop in, say hi. Uh, to me, $50 is a small price compared to what you've already paid, not knowing. Once you join, I post at least one thing daily. I usually post a little more, but not as much maybe as I should yet. Because, well, it's hard to tell what you're looking for if you don't understand putting skin in the game. Now, I don't feel like that's much. And I say that because the entire system caps out. The most I can charge you for virtually anything without using an outside like Zapier or something like that is $999. I might be able to charge you more for a subscription to the community than that, but I'm not giving you dead on guaranteed things outside of the community. I'm giving you little things that worked for me and little things about the way I think and little infographics. So, if you came here because you saw a Facebook or Instagram post, awesome. That's what they're ultimately there for. But also, that's my free shit. Those are my thoughts. I share them. I used to do it in a form of a podcast. I occasionally do it in little video snippets here and there. But I was lost. I was lonely. I was homeless. I was hitchhiking. I was in jail. Pretty much take your pick of silly human error you could make and pay the highest price for, short of death. And I've at least contemplated it. I ran on the edge of the suicidal blade. I've run on the edge of the I never want to die blade. I've landed somewhere happily in between. I have a good enough life. I really don't want to die. And if I died, I left a legacy. Even if nobody bought into it while I was alive, when I die, they'll look back and go, oh, he knew what he was talking about. He was just telling us what we ultimately already knew and trying to give us ways to explore and dance with it. That's what I'm doing. Now, I will tell you also, the beautiful thing about this journey is I've gone literally from the lowest of low places I could find that require less than a year commitment. Okay? I'm going to verify because, you know, the guys who knock off banks and do life, yeah, I didn't get that low. But I don't care whether if it's about your business, because I'll be honest with you, I know very little about business. I'm piecing this together as I go. But I know imagination. I know manifestation. worst case scenario, you invested a little bit in me and you figure out something I was doing right that I don't even know if I'm doing right or not, and run with it and become far more wildly successful. In fact, that's what I hope most of you do. But ultimately, I'm going to be strictly blunt. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to play around with this. Dr. Joe says this, Dr. whoever says this, Mr. Vitale says this. I'm going to tell you straight up, I use the methods of Neville Goddard to change my life. I use the methods I have learned from my mentor, who I still pay for, to change my life. I use what I preach and teach every day to continue to change my life. That's it. Now everybody I talk to goes, well, what do you mean you change your life? Well, I literally went from being in the relationship I thought was the relationship of my dreams and blowing it all to shreds, to staying with my father while he was sick and kind of helping take care of him, but really he was more taking care of me, right? And then being homeless in Austin, to coming back for Dad's chemo and actually kind of taking care of him, to living with friends who wanted the best for me, but had their own idea of what that was that I couldn't vibe with. And so I kind of became their little basement troll, trying to do what I thought they expected of me instead of being me. And I did some things through that stretch that I greatly regret to a point. But I can also sit here and calmly tell you all of these stories and many, many more, right? Because that's not who I really was. It's not even who I really am. And all of these dark, deep, depressed things that you're dealing with or ignoring or looking for distractions for, I can help with that. I'm not saying I can cure anything. I'm not saying I have been directly cured of anything, although I can say a few more things as testimonials when they come up. But of course, because I live in the United States, I can't make any extraordinary claims without proof. And since I'm not a doctor guy, a lot of these things I don't have proof of. I just know I don't hurt that way anymore. I just know I've lost roughly 40 pounds in like the last month and still eating healthy. Like pretty much eating whatever I want, but what I want has changed. So we'll get into that when we get there. Here's what I really do know. I'm going to I've got this all set up, and I'm going to outgrow it. Because eventually, in order to maintain my time to do what I really want to do, I'm going to have such a great impact that I'm going to have to start systematizing things in a way that does not give you the same amount of personal attention. That's just honesty. Just like anything you grow with me or with school or in your own businesses or in your own lives will eventually get so big that you have to automate as much of it as you can rather than just keep repeating yourself. Now, the advantage I have is I'm using school. I can just keep posting. I got a Facebook group. I can just keep posting. I've got my own profiles on Facebook and Instagram, and I probably ignore X too much, and I haven't been on TikTok since I put it back on my phone just because I have to stop and record. Right, I'll sit here and do this, but I won't stop and record on TikTok. Here's the deal. The final deal. All of it comes down to is if what you're doing is working so well that you have the money you want, the happiness you want, the health you want, and the people in your life are the people you want, I can't help you. We can explore this together. We can have a lot of fun. It can become a cool dance, and we can continue to get better together. But if you're stressed, tired, broke, as or more overweight than I am, come talk to me. We've got some shit to figure out. But the only way to do that is to come inside. And even then, you may not get direct access through DMs. I've got a specific product inside that gives you those levels of one-on-one time with me to figure things out. Then, you know, the trigger of the amount ultimately comes down to is what is your peace of mind worth to you? Because my peace of mind is that I'm giving you everything I've got one way or another. And the only way to find all of those things is to jump in and see where I'm putting them. So, $50 a month, cut it to annually $500 a year. Inside, there's a $99 single one-time call, or a $999 you DM me and I schedule you on my next available call. I don't use Calendly or any of those funny things yet. I put you in my Google Calendar. When it goes off, I send you the Zoom link. That's where that comes down to. For most of you who are just getting here, you're going to realize there's 4 members. Just 4. You know why? Because when I was building, they're the 4 people who were doing enough better than me that they are still cheering for me. That are helping. One of them's even my mentor. He helps me with finding new cool ways to make infographics and funny doodles and stuff. One of them is one of my best friends I've had since I started manifesting, and we both had the same. We both took the same course from our shared mentor there. The other one, I think. The other one is an old high school friend who we've talked about all kinds of spiritual things and manifesting and all that together. And then, of course, there's me. I can't be my group if I'm not in there, right? That's it. I had either a bot or someone who couldn't afford to maintain their school in there for a while. She wasn't active at all for 50 days. I went ahead and booted her. I'm not a play around and find out guy, for lack of a better phrase. If you want real results, you have to do real things. And I'm not saying that as in manifestation doesn't work. I'm saying is faith without works is dead, just as works without faith are dead. But let the works be a showing of where I hold the faith, which is a video right now for you on my About page. That's where I set my landing page to for everything I'm working on right now. So, 2 things. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? Because I'm doing what I want to do. I'm teaching this. Whether if I get paid for it or not, it's all going in this community. What overflows goes in the Facebook group. What overflows from that goes on my personal timeline. Bits and pieces of all of it go in private groups that are directly involved in the courses I'm taking myself. Also, this is my ugly, dirty ass apartment behind me. No doodles, no funny shit. Just this is it. I went from living in trees and tents and going to hypothermia preventions in the fall to this in roughly a year. And it had nothing to do with what I was working about or working on, because actually the only thing that saved it was I had a job, but it was part-time, and the part-time made so low that I have a Section 8 voucher right now. You know, like, I'll give you the cause, the physical world cause, but ultimately I'm home. I'm home. And what I want is for you to be home too. So we're going to run through one more time here real quick, start to finish, all one big summary, because I'm new at this and I'm practicing. So from A to B, ready? fuck A to B. If you want a better life, come explore manifesting with me. If you don't want a better life, go back to Reddit. Go back to YouTube. Go back to hours and hours of podcasts and free stuff and whatever it is you need to go back to. Here's the deal. I'm only asking for $50 a month. That's like, what, we cut it down to, so 2 cents a day would, or $2 a day would be, what, $60? $60 to $62 a month? So I'm asking you to roll it back $10. So you're roughly giving me $1.25 a day most months. What do you spend $1.25 a day on? That would free you up to join my community. And then from there, how can we stretch so you can afford to get more access to me? All right. Thank you. Love you. See you soon.